Here, and this is, there we go. So you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So after a lot of work, a lot of preparation, a lot of construction, this is our first live together.
The first of a million to come. We have big ambitions. The first 100 to come.
Yeah, in our new studio.
Welcome. Here's a little tour. Look, lots of love is happening. Oh, with that way. Lots of love happening here.
Yeah, and it looks like our old studio, but we moved.
Yeah, we are no longer in California. We are in the good old state of Texas.
Yeah, we are now in Austin, Texas. We're no longer in Los Angeles. And when we moved, I wanted our studio and I wanted the ability for us to be able to literally flip a switch and go live so that we could do all the things that we want to do, so that we could talk to all of you about the things that we are learning, the things that we're working on with our clients, the things that we are working on, our classes. What else do we want to talk about?
We wanted to send the message of our mission out into the world to as many people and as many places with the intention. My love language is acts of service. Jan's love language is words of affirmation. So when you blend the two of those, we want to tell you how amazing you are while also serving you with new ideas, new perspectives, new lenses to start looking at your life, looking at your relationships, and looking at your circumstances differently, and in ways that more serve what your dreams are, what your goals are, and who you really are, who you want to be.
Do we need to introduce ourselves?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to start by introducing
Yes.
ourselves?
So my name is Monica Zans, and this is my beautiful husband of 22 years, but 30 years we've been dating. What's your name? Share them.
Oh, I'm Jan Zans.
So Monica and Jan.
I was doing the math in my head because it's almost 22 years.
Oh, yes. This year.
Okay.
2022 is 22 years, but this is in our 22 years, right?
Sure.
So we want to share with you, like, who are we, why we have the desire, the mission, and I want to share with you what our mission is. So our mission is to eradicate self-inflicted suffering. What does that mean? Why don't you share? What does that mean?
Basically, self-inflicted suffering are the thoughts that you have in your head that create suffering. So if you fall and you break your leg and there's like a physical wound and you're hurting, that's suffering. Like that will create suffering. But when you have the thoughts of, I'm not good enough, my life should be different, my body should be different, my relationship should be different, and that's creating suffering in your own head, no one else is creating that. You're the one who's creating that. So we call that self-inflicted suffering. And where did those thoughts come from? What are the rules about who you're supposed to be and what your life is supposed to look like that have created those thoughts? Where did those come from? We want to look at those and help you shift those, because once you shift those, the suffering goes away.
Yeah. Well, and as you begin,
that was my poof. Suffering goes away.
I love it. Huzzah! Like my daughter would say. Yes. We are committed that people live their best life. And not their best life like airy fairy woo woo best life, like spiritual bypass best life like you know who you are. You understand that things aren't always perfect. You don't worry about the fact that sometimes we fail forward. You are meeting those failures, meeting those challenges, meeting those situations with tools, with self-awareness, with self-love, with self-forgiveness. One of the things that I absolutely love that Jan does all the time is you'll hear him on the side. He'll do something great, or he'll help me with something, or help one of the kids with something. And off in the corner, you'll hear him say, "Good job, Jan." And it's just awesome. And we tell all of our clients in all of our classes that example. Like, how often do we say, "Darn it, Monica, I was on the tennis courts this morning playing a tournament." And I remember catching myself. I was like, "That was terrible. No. That was good. You tried, you hustled, you missed the bar, I'll get it the next time." And in that moment, you can just see when someone hears "good job," they light up, they're excited, they feel acknowledged, they feel important, they brush it off. When someone feels "you suck, that's terrible, do it better next time," you see the shrinking inside of their bodies, inside of their minds. And so if we can constantly support people to remember, what is the voice inside of your head telling you? How mean are the voices inside of you telling you? And by the way, who does that sound like? My father and I have a beautiful relationship today, but it was very bumpy over many, many years of my life. And during that bumpy time, I remember feeling super inadequate. I felt like a huge failure. I felt like all I could do was let not only him down, because he pointed it out, but anybody else down that wanted something from me or had an aspiration or a goal or a dream of some accomplishment that I would have or something that I would be helping them with. And it felt awful. And you can imagine the domino effect of that. If I feel awful about something, then the work that I do is not going to be great. And then the output is not going to be great. And then the people are not going to be happy. And it's this vicious cycle of keeping on that way of being.
Yeah. So we both have masters in spiritual psychology. We got there because we were just trying to work on our own lives. So we met in college and had a beautiful love story in college. And
just a few years ago at UCLA.
yeah. And then we got out into the real world and life started happening and it was challenging. And we didn't have the tools to navigate it. And we knew that we loved each other. Like we loved each other and we thought that love should be enough. Like we should be able to work everything out as long as we loved each other. And yet it wasn't, because the way that I learned how to do relationship and the way that she learned how to do relationship from her parents and her family and what I learned from my parents and my family didn't flow together. And
so different, like not a little bit different, so different. And a lot of times in a relationship, when your upbringing is so different, of course, that's going to breed conflict and differences, because you're going to constantly see it through your lens and not through their lens. And then you're going to feel like, maybe I did, they're wrong and I'm right. And that black and white thinking, that fixed mindset thinking, does not produce a very beautiful and fertile ground for love.
Yeah. And so even though we loved each other, we were arguing, we were upset, we didn't know how to have fun anymore. So we broke up, but then we loved each other. So we'd get back together and then we'd break up again. And this was many years ago.
Yeah.
And eventually we said, okay, we know how to solve this. So we got married. That did not solve it.
Yeah. Have a marriage when you want to solve the problems. That's going to be a recipe for success.
That didn't solve anything at all.
Lots of sarcasm, just in case you weren't sure.
Yeah. And so what we did do was we went and got a relationship coach and we started our journey into personal development. Our relationship coach was almost like shining a video, like recording us so we could see who we were being in a relationship. And we were like, oh, we're being this way. No wonder why it's not working. And Monica was blaming me for everything that wasn't working in her life.
Sorry.
That was my fault.
Yep.
And I was just so scared that she was going to leave that I wasn't being myself. No. I was just being this guy who was like, let me walk into the room and let me scan.
Eggshells.
Let me see what's going on and see what can I say that will make her happy and what can I not say to make her upset. And which, was just
a recipe for failure, big disaster.
Yeah.
And then I would jump on his bandwagon, because when he'd be like that puppy with his tail between his legs, I would be hard on him and I would tell him what he did wrong. And I was awful. I felt really awful. And in the moment, I could hear the voice in my head saying, don't do that. Don't say that. Do you really have to point that out? But I couldn't stop the words from coming out of my mouth because I had no other way of doing what I thought was, oh, he needs my help. He didn't, but that's how I treated him. And that's how I related to it.
So we started all of our personal development work. We did seminars and we worked with our relationship coach. And eventually we both, like I said, got masters in spiritual psychology. And we learned new tools on how to, one, work on ourselves, because we're bringing ourselves and our stuff into the relationship. And two, how to be nice to each other, how to love each other, not just in the way that I think I should be loving her, but in the way that she wants to receive loving.
Yeah, I think that's so important. Like, each one of us has our unique design. And if you've never heard of it, there is a beautiful way to kind of look, there's different personality tests. Well, there's one that I really am studying a lot of and love. It's called Human Design. And it tells you the differences between how you operate. Like, we each have an operating system, and it tells you the difference between how we operate. For me to know that I operate different than my husband, and he's not wrong for the way he operates, and I'm not wrong for the way I operate, is so liberating.
Yeah. So what are we doing here? I see we have a couple of viewers now. So this is the first time that we've done this. We are using a tool called Restream. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook, both on the Jan and Monica pages. Our goal, we're going to be putting a schedule out. Our goal is to be doing this like almost every single day if possible.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing this a lot. That's what I'll say.
You're gonna get to see us a lot.
And our intention is to have people come online as well so that we can talk to them.
Yeah.
So we can hear what it is. Do you have questions? Yeah, go ahead.
The thing we're the most excited about is our brand new brand. So what we're launching today is Welcome to the Rich Relationship. This is our brand new brand. This is our brand new company. This is our brand new endeavor. And Rich stands for, it's an R.I.C.H. It stands for rallying together as a team to ignite your relationship, not just with yourself, not just with your partner, but actually your relationship to money. C is to create wealth, because we know that what makes a very powerful relationship is when you don't argue about certain things. And one of the number one things that causes divorce is arguments about money. So we got certified as Profit First professionals, and we help people with a very specific system on how to transform their money conversation and their finances, their cash management system, with hardcore tools to be able to really refine and define how you want to manage your money so that it doesn't influence and impact in a negative way your relationship. And then the last one, the H, is harvest your future. Wouldn't you love to have a future life where you love your life, you love who you are, you cherish and acknowledge who your partner is, and you feel great about the way you're managing your money? Whether you have a lot of it or you're on the road to making more of it, you have a system that you know is a fail-proof system.
Yeah, because Monique and I have been thinking, like, how do we make an impact on the planet? How do we make a difference? We're very clear on our legacy.
Yeah.
And we want to spread love on the planet. And what we were thinking about is our relationship. And so many relationships don't work when money's an issue. Mm-hmm. It's like one of the main reasons why people get divorced, which is over 50%. And if we can like kind of solve that problem for people so that they never argue about money again. So not only is it helping them shift their relationship.
That's right.
It's also impacting their kids' relationship. I had a session today where it was with a client and it was all about her relationship with money.
Yeah.
And I said, did your parents ever argue about money? And she's like, that's all they argued about. That was the thing that they argued about.
My parents got divorced over money. So it's very clear when the pattern of your life shows up over and over and over again with my clients, in our relationship, with my own parents and my upbringing. Money was an issue. It was such an issue. It caused the divorce of my parents. So clearly, of course, I want to heal the planet of their money issues so that no child ever has to feel what I felt when I was going through that growing up.
Yeah. So if we can get in there and we can make a difference in that area, that will be a life worth lived. I think that's a way that we can make an impact on the planet.
So we welcome you to The Rich Relationship. Stay tuned for so many more amazing conversations. We're going to have guests. We're going to have conversations with people who are money experts. We're going to have people on here who are going through the ups and downs of relationship. And we are going to share about our relationship, because boy, is it a story. So we hope that you join us. We hope that we get to hear from you, share your relationship celebrations and woes, and that in some beautiful way we can support, we're here to do so.
Yeah. And if you're watching this, because this is live right now, if you can put into the comments of either YouTube or Facebook that you watched it, you saw this, you're ready for more, what you would love from us, topics that may be interesting, just because this is new to us. So we're excited to have interaction with all of you. And like we said, we're going to be here all the time. We're going to be teaching a lot of the tools that we teach in our private sessions. We're going to be launching our podcast, our show here on YouTube and on wherever you get podcasts, where we're going to be doing coaching sessions and talking about how to create a rich relationship, whether you're in a relationship with someone, so it's a rich relationship with them, or rich relationship in everything that you do in your life, a rich relationship with your body, with your job, with time, with everything. So we're excited to see you here.
And we welcome you to the Rich Relationship Show.
Bye, everybody.